guest this evening is radio podcast producer of A Mediocre Time and host of her own show, Samantics, Samantha Haar.
Hi.
One of the reasons we wanted to bring Sam on is we know we talk to a lot of podcasters, being part of the podcast community, and I was thinking we'd have Sam on and talk to her about her podcasting career, how she got where she is, because you're radio and podcast.
Nobody grinds like Sam does.
Technically, yes.
Nobody grinds like Sam does.
I don't know. Well,
no, you get out there and
I
meet
do.
people and network and make friends and get involved in the community.
yeah.
Like, you want to get on Sam's show, you got to become a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
how you
just
do it.
because I'm a paranoid person.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus,
I don't blame
if
you.
you don't know somebody that well and then you have them on your show and then it's like there's no chemistry, you're like,
You treat it like a first date.
yeah.
What's your
boring.
favorite color?
It's the worst.
What
All
do you like
stupid
to
small
eat?
talk.
First dates or their podcast.
Oh, God.
That is pretty accurate.
So
Terrible.
Sam starts out
Mhm.
in the Wayback Machine before she became this radio producer, host.
It sounds a lot more glamorous than it is.
But it's a cool story because you did a hard grind. I mean,
how do you even get to the point of where you wanted to go to school for it? I mean,
Well, I always did.
well, you
Okay,
wanted to go to
so-
school for music, right?
Yeah.
Or was it
Well, in my elementary years,
right? Okay.
I was already into radio and TV broadcasting. Like, I was in radio TV club. I did the
Right.
school news and shit. We were trying to get a radio station going there.
Oh, you should see my old tapes. Ooh, bad.
Ugh. I gotta-
Scared, nervous, didn't know what to do.
Hey, no one was talking or telling anybody how to do anything back then.
You're like a little kid.
Stormy Jones was alone in the
That's
river.
true.
You got your hands behind the chair. And you're like, yeah.
They're just like, go.
Swerve Jones is just bobbing in the ocean. That is the internet content. Doesn't know what the fuck to do.
So I was doing all that shit. I did TV production in high school and all
Okay.
that. Always listened to talk radio. I think probably since I was in 4th or 5th grade. Way too young
Right.
probably for some of the
Right.
content, but always enjoyed it. But I didn't really see much of a career in radio by the time I got into my junior and
Okay.
senior year of high school. So I'm
Right.
like, well, I love music. I love going to shows. I love
Yeah.
So I was like, let me do music and sound.
And you're into a
production.
lot of music. You're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not into everybody's got I'm into metal or I'm into rap or their one thing. You've never been like
Not
that,
really,
right?
no. I've listened to pretty much everything. Even classical. I got really into classical when I got to college because
Really?
I took a music appreciation class and we had to learn a lot about some of the old shit. And I'm like, man, I'm fucking listening to Beethoven and,
Yeah.
and Bach and shit.
It's
It was-
super interesting scores.
When you sit down
know?
and actually listen to it is without zoning it out.
What's the bee one? It's a classic song. They always use a bee. Fly to the bee or something like that.
Flight of the Bumblebee?
Yeah, Fly to the Bumblebee. That's it. I knew I was close. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one makes me panic a little bit
Yeah.
listening
Yeah.
to it,
Be the motherfucker who's got to play that on the flute.
And then, so made good grades through high school. Got a...
Are you A student or did you kind of float
No. It was A's and B's. And then senior year...
all through high school? Good job. Good job.
Only got my first C ever in my senior year trig class.
Fuck trigonometry.
Right?
Have
Who
you
the
used?
fuck? Never.
Have you used
Never.
it? Yeah.
Never.
Fuck that shit.
bitch gave me a C. I was pissed.
I ain't trying to be an architect.
I failed art class.
Damn it! You can't say that.
It wasn't about his paperwork, is what it was. This is art class, and we're not making art. You got us reading.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with art.
It's busy work.
Yeah,
Is what it is.
I didn't like it. I never did any of it. I was like,
Shouldn't.
fuck this shit. I'm not
You
doing
shouldn't.
it.
Fuck that shit.
I get good grades on art projects and then F's on the test because I wasn't reading it.
So got good grades. Got a scholarship, like a 75% of that
Nice.
that Bright Futures or whatever.
Right?
Then my mom got really sick, and my brothers didn't necessarily help out. So
Right.
I had to get a job and help my mom pay the bills. So I didn't go to college for that first year, and I lost my scholarship.
Oh, shit.
So then I was like, well, can't really afford to move out and go to college, so I'm just going to move out, and
Right.
waited for a few years until I went back.
Right.
I don't remember how. I think it was like 4 or 5 years that passed before I went back to college, and or not even back to college. Went to Valencia for music and sound production. It took me 4.5 years, and it should have took me 2, but because I was working as well,
Right.
you know. And
When did you start interning at the radio station?
That was 2012.
Was that in college?
Yeah, that was the end of my. That was my last semester. Yeah.
Right.
Because we had to do an internship for our last semester, so I chose.
So that's kind of a cool term though, because you were like you wanted to get into radio and stuff, but then you ended up doing music,
Right.
and then ended up interning for radio.
Yeah, so it all full circle.
So you're in college and you do this internship for the radio.
Well, I was gonna do. I wanted to do SBK actually because I listened to SBK as well, and at the time I didn't really listen to the Monsters anymore.
Fangus.
And they're so fucking early in the morning.
Right.
I didn't really want to get up that early either.
Right.
But because of the studio time that we have to use to record bands and stuff at the school, you can only do those at night.
Right.
So then I couldn't do both the night show and get studio time. So I had it.
Okay.
Then I went for the Monsters, and Daniel hired me and worked there for 6 months and started going in for a mediocre time.
So it was right around the time they started
August.
their podcast.
No, they had already been doing it a couple of years.
Had they?
Yeah, they started in 2009.
That's right. Yeah, I guess you did come
Yeah.
in a few years later.
But I had been listening to their show, just not the Monsters.
So you were actually under Dan, right?
What do you mean?
Like as an intern,
Well, technically,
you-
I was the entire show's intern.
right?
But when I got hired, Russ was on vacation
Right.
because it was like the week of 4th of July. So he wasn't aware that I got hired, and maybe that
He
was
was
the
mad.
Maybe that was the reason. Maybe it was because I was a female. Maybe it was because I had the same name as his wife at the time. I don't know, but for some reason that man never acknowledged me the whole 6 months I was there, except for once, and he asked me about the weather.
That's weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hired his own intern, like halfway
Yeah, like a
through-
private intern.
Yeah, like halfway through my internship, so that the kid could go get him water every fucking segment.
So, and then so what? You start doing the double grind at that point when you join the podcast because you're doing a regular job.
Yeah.
That is the same job that carried over from college.
No, I was doing bullshit retail for a while.
Right. So you cycled out a few jobs while doing the intern
Yeah.
thing, and then started doing
Yeah.
Tom and Dan, right?
Because I couldn't work full time and go to school and do the internship and all that shit. So I was working like part time bullshit.
Right.
And then I got a job at a pharmacy, at a corporate office.
Okay.
Right.
For one of the biggest pharmacies. And I saved
Nobody. Yeah, I know what place you're talking about. Anybody who works for that company, they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, so I worked there pretty much the whole time until they finally hired me full time at Tom and Dan.
Right. So what? It was like 6. Was it 6 years that you worked for them, doing the job and podcasting with them?
Yeah.
Okay. We
Yeah.
can do this.
Yeah.
We can do this, Rory.
Yeah.
I would have to hustle because we had like shift bids every 6 months, and I would have to hustle to get like the best numbers in the fucking in my team so that I could get a good bid so that I could have the 4 10-hour shifts so that I could have Fridays off
Yeah. So you could.
so I could do the
Still
show.
do the show.
Oh my god, I was fucking
Oh,
grinding
working
to
your
get
ass off.
Yes.
Yeah. Plus you would do edit and do things every once in a while. Grinding.
And mail out shit tons of stickers for free.
So how long was the?
So was there a moment? Well, before you ask that question,
Okay.
was there a moment during the deciding to go do music and the internship that you were like, I feel like I have to keep doing this. Like I really want like a radio podcast thing to like become something.
I think, yeah. Well, I don't know when it was, but it was when I was just going like repetitively every Friday, and I'm like, they're getting me to do more and more stuff. I'm just like, and I believed in
Okay.
the show.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I can help this show and support this show, I want to be a part of this show. So I just kept grinding for that, and then
And
I-
as
I was
things
still
and
doing
as
kind of-
things grew with like Tom and Dan, like they Tom and Dan take care of the people around them.
Yeah.
Like they really, I mean, they're not a mega rich, super giant show, but
Yeah.
like they take care of the people around them. I mean, we get Trey knows we got paid to do cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Sam got paid to do some stuff. And once you get that taste of like knowing that like there's money to be made in something you really enjoy,
yeah,
it gives you that initiative to be like, I can fucking do this.
Or keep
Do
going.
this. Yeah, keep going. I can do this.
Yeah.
This will get bigger.
Tenacity.
You know? Yeah.
I was gonna ask Sam earlier, how long was the gap that you were doing Samantics, you were working a day job doing Tom and Dan, and
Before you answer that, there was a moment where you were like, is this going to turn into anything, or do I do my own thing? Right? There had to have been a thought there.
Or just I have to get a new job because I'm not making ends meet. And if I get a new job, I'm probably not going to be able to help Tom and Dan anymore, be on the Friday Free Show anymore.
Because you want to do your show.
Well, not even that. Just I have to live.
Right.
Like, you know, like
sanity
I wasn't getting paid
too.
shit at the pharmacy either. Everybody I knew was leaving the place and going to places getting like way more money. And I'm like, well, if I go to one of those places, I'm pretty much fucked because I'm not going to be able to control my schedule like I can here. Yeah. So yeah, there was a touch and go where I was probably going to have to quit Tom and Dan if they didn't hire me quick enough.
Right.
If only that if that guy didn't get fired, well, I'd be gone probably.
Right. Yeah. There's an era in the Tom and Dan world that we like to call the dark year, where they brought in this dude Lee, and then everything got weird for about a year, and then Ross left. Everybody was upset.
Ross left while he was there.
Yeah, no, I know.
And then
so everything kind of fell into place.
Kind of
right. It just kind of
so happened to go that way. Right when I was having trouble thinking I was gonna have to leave, someone got fired. I got hired.
Right.
Like, all right.
Perfect timing.
Worked out.
That's the best.
Destiny.
And I've talked to Sam about it before, like just like off of any mics, but like there's that quality of life thing versus like having the insurance and some of the other things you get with.
I'm paying an ass load to be on my husband's insurance now.
Right.
Plus taxes.
But you're doing your dream.
Exactly.
You're on
Can't
the radio.
complain too much.
Also, you count as a Twitch streamer as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? It might be through them, but you're on Twitch every day.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a tough grind. She's doing the Twitch, doing the
video takes
radio podcasting,
sucks
everything.
A little bit out of your soul every time. I'm convinced of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Sam has to keep Tom and Dan in line. I feel like you're more their manager, less a producer.
Yeah.
Right, you're like
a little bit of both.
Just to come and tell them what they're doing because they have no idea.
Sprinkling of mom.
Yeah, a little sprinkle of
right?
mom. Sometimes it has to be done.
What did we call you one time? The queen of the podcast mafia or something like that?
I've heard of that. I've heard sticker queen.
Right, yeah. Well, we almost made you sticker queen.
Sticker queen.
Yeah. We're going to start cutting deals with Sam and have her send every podcast as stickers.
All right.
Too much work, though.
She said no. I don't even want to think about it.
No,
don't make me calculate the numbers.
You got it. Like, you're doing good now, though. Like, your podcast is doing good.
Yeah.
The Tom and Dan's doing great. You guys are live all the time.
Yep.
It's good stuff. I pop into the chat every once in a while.
Got to get you guys back on Samantics. But you guys are busy as hell, too.
Right.
You tried
I know.
Last month.
I tried to get Crystal and Josh this week, too.
Right.
Well, first you don't.
Damn that whiskey and politics.
And Wishmas.
Yeah. Wishmas.
Oh, yeah, Wishmas.